Hi everyone, this is Collagen Brand review number 9 in the works here, and it is an interesting one. It might be the last of the liquid collagens that I do for a while. I'm going to move into some powder collagen soon. I've done a number, this is number 9 of liquid collagen brands, so I have to go through my list, see if I have any more requested liquid ones. But this one is a tricky one because there was a lot of sketchiness on the website. And then I was comparing the Canadian versus the American website because the labeling is different in Canada versus the US. And there was so much like misleading claims and also not just misleading claims, but like emptiness in the label that I was suspicious. So for instance, here's one of the claims that they're making with this brand. They're claiming that there is 10 types of collagen being that you're getting from this collagen product, but it's not true because the only source of collagen is fish, which is a type 1 collagen. So right away, my red flags are like all over the place. Like I've got red flags and like alarm bells going off in my head because I'm like, wait a second, if fish is the only type of collagen in this collagen product, where are the 10 types coming from? So very misleading because that is not what's going to happen when you take this product. You are not going to be able to absorb 10 types of collagen from one type of collagen. That's not how this works. And so there was that, and then it was part of the collagen source was part of a proprietary blend, which on the Canada website, they had to break out separately. And so my alarm bells were going off because I was like, how is there 10 grams of collagen listed if there's only 5 grams of peptides? If there's only 5 grams of peptides, of protein, 5 grams of protein, there's not 10 grams of peptides. Like that right there should set your alarm bells off because when it is more than a gram difference, when you're looking at the protein amount versus the collagen peptide amount, they should almost line up perfectly. This was half. So that, hey Wanda, thanks for joining. So right there, I was like, what is happening with this blend and what exactly is in there? So I started breaking it down. And then when I was looking at the pricing, I was like, oh shoot, I got to get to the Canadian site because I've been testing the Canadian price point. And so I wanted to stick to that. And when I came over here, I was like, oh, okay, I see what they were hiding in the proprietary blend. They were hiding things like sucrose, maltodextrin, modified food starches. They were propylene glycol. They were hiding in the proprietary blend. Wow. Okay, that and this is not a low quality shelf one. This is one that is touted as like a high quality brand. And so I was actually really quite shocked. I was expecting higher quality from this company. Hey Kelly, thanks for joining live. So that was like, holy cow, what is actually happening with this? And so I was like, okay, let's go look at the source of the fish. It was listed in the allergen list, the source of the fish. So the source of the fish is tilapia. You guys, tilapia is the cheapest source of fish you can get. It is like, well, first of all, there's high risk of the overall purity of the collagen, but it has a much lower amino acid density level than a cold water fish, which would be in a higher quality. So something like cod would be a higher quality fish marine collagen source than tilapia. Tilapia is like the bottom feeder, okay? It is the lowest quality, and I was shocked to see that in this formula. And so when I moved it over to the Canadian site, I saw that indeed there was only 5 grams of collagen peptides, not 10. The proprietary blend has a whole bunch of stuff, plus the collagen in it. So it's stating that it's 10 grams to make it look like it's 10 grams, but it is not. So of course there was a whole bunch of claims on the US site being made. The Canadian site doesn't have like the same type of claims because they're not allowed to on the Canadian site. But on the US site, there was all these different claims being had, and it mentioned that there is the wording, did I write down the wording? Hold on. Oh yes, the wording was clinical trials on key ingredients, okay? Not clinical trials on this product, clinical trials on the key ingredients. Now, if you've been following me a while, you'll know that I brought to your attention that companies will lean on clinical studies of key ingredients, not mentioning the dosage that would be required to get that result. And then when you look at their formula, you're like, but you don't have that much in there. So you're leaning on science that doesn't line up, because if it doesn't have the same amount that was in the clinical study on the key ingredients, then you're not going to get those same results. So that should kind of give you alarm bell warnings too, is when it says clinical trials on key ingredients, it means the product itself has not gone through clinical studies. It means the ingredients, and that's not always bad. I'm not saying that that's always bad. That happens with good formulas too. But when you look at it, you have to be sure that it's actually the clinical dosages, or you're not going to get the results from these studies. So first, like low quality, it doesn't talk about the hydrolysis process. But when I was looking into it, there is some alarm bell ingredients that were listed. Oh my gosh, I need something on my throat. I didn't bring water in here with me. There was something listed in there that really caught my attention. I put it down here because there's multiple acids in it and solvents. That also really sets alarm bells for me, because there's hydrolysis processes to make the collagens more absorbable. And high quality companies are going to use fruit enzymes in that hydrolysis process to break down the collagen peptides down into di and tripeptides. This does not mention anything of di or tripeptides, which means it's not going to be very absorbable forms of collagen. And then on top of that, with the listing of acids and solvents, it makes me question, because some companies hydrolyze using solvents, and that is not what you want to put in your body. So that set off alarm bells. There is some really great sources of antioxidants in there, so there is some good ingredients. But the problem then lies is that they're in such a low dosage that they're not gonna like support what it actually is marketed to do, because there's such low sources. Like 50 milligrams of antioxidant vitamin C source is not going to do. You need at least 100 milligrams to do anything. So it's like half, right? So that was some things that really was set aside for me. What else did I write down here? Okay, so there was some great extracts. There was acerola, which is really good. However, like minuscule amounts basically added in at the very bottom without even listing how much. So you know it's not going to be an amount that's going to actually do anything. There was blueberry extracts in there at 50 milligrams. That was actually in there, so that's good. But it's too low to actually do much. And then there was lycopene in there in a small dose, and it doesn't actually add to the production of collagen in your body. It can help the body. It's from tomatoes. It's not bad, but it just doesn't make sense in my opinion to be in this product. I don't understand what it adds to it. There is also red quinoa in there, which claims to activate collagen synthesis, but again, it's listed as like part of the collagen, but it's not actually collagen. Like, you have to know, like, something is up when there is only fish in there for an actual collagen source, because there's no such thing as plant-based collagen. There's companies out there claiming that they've got a plant-based collagen. There's no such thing as plant-based collagen. Please understand this. There is plant-based formulas that can help boost the collagen production in your body, but it is not the same as putting collagen in your body. So watch for that marketing. If it says it's a plant-based collagen, they're lying to you, because there's no such thing as plant-based collagen. So this brand is saying that there's type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, like 10 types of collagen, but there isn't. Is it going to support the synthesis of collagen in your body? It could if it was in a clinical dosage, but it's not in a clinical dosage. Therefore, it's not going to actually help your body produce collagen, because there's not enough in there to actually help your body produce collagen. So it's a completely false claim, which makes sense why it's not on the Canadian website. So that claim is not on the Canadian website. That's something to be noted. Now, the second piece of it is that, what is the added ingredients? Because this is a liquid collagen. You are paying for water, sugar, and apple juice concentrate. That is what you're actually paying for, because there's so little good quality ingredients in here. There is a few good quality ingredients, but the formula doesn't make sense. So this is why I always say the formula matters, because you can have a bunch of great ingredients, but if they're not clinically dosed, if they're not matched appropriately, it's not going to create the results. And so I was extremely disappointed with this brand. I actually, when I was going through all of it, I was like so fired up and like upset about the marketing of this that I didn't even get to the point of like, okay, here's another red flag. Here's my red flag. I can't even see the pricing unless I set up an account. That is frustrating. So I can't even tell you the price point on this in Canada, because there's no pricing on the Canadian website. So if I go over to the US website, I'm going to go over the US website. I'm going to break it down really quickly for you, because it's not going to be favorable. I know it's not going to be favorable. And I know this is going a little bit long here, but I've done this with every other brand, or every other product. So I feel like I really need to be doing the same thing with every single product, right? So I'm going to do that really quick here for you, because I think it's really important. And I think it's going to be really alarming if it even pulls up here. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go for a 30-day supply. And I'm going to actually give you the pricing of what it is if you subscribe and save. Okay. If you subscribe and save, let me tell you, and I'm going to convert it. Oh my gosh, I need a calculator. Hold on. I'm going to convert it to the Canadian dollars by doing like what our conversion is. So it's going to be really easy here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to, usually I do it from my phone, but I am having to pull up it on my computer here. So just be patient with me. Be patient with me. Okay. For a 30-day supply, you're going to pay approximately $232 Canadian, okay? So we're going to divide that. This is my formula, you guys. Divide it by the 30-day supply, and then they divide it again by the amount of collagen peptides, so I can get the cost per gram of peptides. It is $1.55. $1.55 per gram of cheap peptides that are not going to be high quality in a formula that is not going to be effective. My collagen is only 52 cents and there's a sale on right now. So this is why I'm doing this, you guys, because I get told, and I just want people to understand the value you're getting from my formula versus what else is on the market. You are not going to get the results like you will get from mine. So thank you again for following. Stay tuned for tomorrow when I do the brand review number 10.